Okay, so think about this. What if the walls around you right now aren't just there? What if they're actually maybe adding to your stress?
Or maybe holding the key to a bit more peace.
Exactly. It's this idea that your home environment, it's not just a backdrop. It's like an active participant in how you feel, your mental well-being. So today we're doing a deep dive. We've looked at sources from psychology, design, even some ancient practices.
Yeah, a real mix.
To figure out how our surroundings really hit our state of mind and, what you can actually do to make your space feel more like a sanctuary.
It's a great topic. Because we talk a lot about mental wellness from the inside out, right?
Yeah.
Mindfulness, therapy.
Sure, the usual tools.
And those are vital, absolutely. But the dive into the sources, it really highlights this powerful external thing we often miss, your actual physical space.
So there's a real link.
Oh, definitely. Profound, actually. Our mental health is, measurably impacted by our surroundings.
Yeah.
Everything from the big stuff like layout.
Down to tiny details.
Yeah, like the quality of the light or the feel of a fabric. And if you think about prevention, preventing stress,
Yeah.
your home, it's probably the most fundamental place to start. You spend so much time there.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's start with something really tangible, something loads of us struggle with. Clutter came up right away in the sources.
Yep.
We all know it's annoying, but is the stress link really that big a deal?
It seems to be, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just being annoying. The research we looked at is pretty clear. Living in cluttered, disorganized spaces, strongly linked to more stress, more anxiety, even makes it harder to concentrate. Think about all that visual chaos. It's mental overload.
Your brain's trying to process it all.
Constantly, even if you're not actively thinking about it.
Yeah.
Practices like Feng Shui, that ancient Chinese art about energy flow and harmony.
Right.
And minimalism, living with just what you need or value.
They both emphasize this. It's about getting rid of the extra noise, the superfluous stimuli.
So simplifying the outside quiets the inside. Exactly. That reduction in external chaos seems to directly link to less internal stress. It genuinely helps clear your head, frees up mental space, better focus, better emotional balance.
Okay, so clearing physical space clears mental space. That feels intuitive. But it's not just about taking stuff away, is it? It's also about what we intentionally keep or bring in, the visual environment itself. That's huge, right?
Absolutely huge. We're constantly engaging with our space visually.
Yeah.
The quality of the finishes, the textures you see, and maybe touch, and definitely color. These aren't just decoration. They're like psychological triggers.
Okay, color psychology. That gets talked about a lot. What did the sources say? Which colors help create calm?
Yeah, they did cover that. The general findings pretty consistently point towards blues and greens.
Like nature, sky, water.
Yeah, exactly. They tend to promote feelings of relaxation, tranquility. It seems almost hardwired for a lot of people, that association.
But I bet it's not quite that simple, is it? Like, paint your room blue and you're instantly calm. Were there any surprises or, nuances in the research about what actually feels relaxing?
Yeah, this is where it got really interesting. The sources definitely threw in some twists. While blue and green often come up, the research showed it's actually quite subjective. What calms one person might not work for another at all.
Okay.
For instance, some participants found warm neutrals. Soft beiges, gentle creams, those muted earthy tones, most soothing.
Not necessarily blue or green then.
Right. And others actually preferred bright, cheerful colors. They found those lifted their mood in a way that felt relaxing to them.
Interesting. So relaxing doesn't always mean muted.
Apparently not for everyone. And conversely, some of those cool neutrals, certain grays, for example, were actually disliked by some people. They found them cold or sterile, maybe even a bit depressing.
So it's less about a universal rule book and more about figuring out your own connection to color, how your personal history and feelings play into it.
Precisely. Your own connection to a color could totally override some general psychological idea. It really highlights that making a stress-free space is, deeply personal.
And still on the visual front, something else came up. Art. Looking at art. How does that fit in?
It's like a passive way of engaging visually. And yeah, the findings were pretty compelling. The research pointed specifically to viewing art having a positive impact on mental health.
Really? How so?
They noted reductions in reported depression and anxiety levels just from looking at it.
Wow.
It can be a distraction from, negative thoughts spinning around. or evoke positive feelings, or just give you something to focus on that isn't a stressor. It's another one of those subtle ways our visual world is constantly influencing us.
Okay, so beyond the walls and what's on them, another really critical thing that kept coming up in the sources was nature and natural light.
Crucial.
We spend, like 90% of our time indoors in industrialized countries? Something crazy like that. So that connection to nature inside becomes even more important.
It really, really does. And the sources made a clear distinction between direct access to nature, like having actual plants, maybe a little herb garden on the windowsill, or easy access to a garden or balcony.
You're right, the real...
And indirect access, which is things like views out the window, using natural materials like wood or stone in your decor, or even just pictures or art showing natural scenes.
And is one better than the other?
Generally, direct access seems to have a stronger positive impact, psychologically speaking. But honestly, any connection helps. It's better than none.
And what specific benefits did they find from just observing nature, even indirectly?
Looking at nature scenes, even just through glass or in a picture, was shown to bring up more positive emotions and reduce negative ones like fear, sadness, anger. It seems to help break cycles of negative thinking, rumination, and it aids in psychological stress recovery. You know, that feeling of your system calming down after something stressful.
That makes sense, like taking a deep breath visually.
Yeah, kind of. And it's not new, right? Think about gardens and hospitals and healing places. That goes way back. Recognizing this, like innate human need for nature. Biophilia, they sometimes call it.
And what about natural light? How critical is that?
Oh, absolutely critical. Maximizing natural light is key. The sources might not always spud out the exact brain chemistry in every study, but the link is just undeniable.
It affects our body clocks, right? Circadian rhythms.
Exactly. Natural light is a primary cue for our internal body clock that governs sleep, wake cycles, hormones, mood, the works. Getting enough natural light, especially earlier in the day, helps set that clock properly.
Which helps with mood and energy.
Fundamentally, poor lighting, relying only on artificial light, especially if it's dim or inconsistent, that can really mess with those rhythms. Contribute to stress, low mood.
Yeah.
Good air quality, too, that was mentioned as important. It goes hand in hand with light for just a basic, healthy indoor space that supports you feeling good.
Okay, so we've got the physical stuff in the space. Light, color, clutter, nature. But what about our actual relationship with the space? The sources really hammered home the importance of personal space and, crucially, control. Having control over your immediate environment.
Yes, this is core psychological stuff. Just think about how you feel when you can't control the temperature or the noise or who walks into your space.
Yeah, it's instantly stressful.
Exactly. The sources highlighted that a lack of control, which often happens in crowded situations or places with no privacy, is a major stressor. It can even contribute, in more extreme cases, to something called learned helplessness.
Learned helplessness. That sounds pretty serious. How does that play out at home?
It's that feeling that nothing you do makes a difference to your environment or situation, which is incredibly draining over time. At home, maybe it's feeling like you can never find a quiet spot, or you can't adjust the lights how you like them, or you always feel sort of watched or interrupted. The research showed that privacy and enough personal space are really highly desired. Why? Because they give you agency, control.
Control over who you interact with.
Yeah, control over social interactions, deciding when you engage, or just being able to retreat and recharge without anyone bothering you. There was an example in the sources about workplace privacy, how it helps you control who you socialize with. That same need for agency applies at home, maybe even more so.
So designing your home to allow for that control, maybe by zoning, creating different areas, that could actually fight that helpless feeling.
Absolutely. Zoning spaces, whether you use a physical screen, arrange furniture differently, or just use visual cues like different colors or rugs, it's a concrete way to create that sense of control, to define areas for different purposes. It tells your brain, okay, this corner is for quiet reading, or this area is for chatting. It helps you feel more in command of your surroundings and how you experience them.
Okay, shifting senses now. Moving from the visual to sound. That also plays a huge part in how a space feels. The auditory environment.
Oh, incredibly influential. It can soothe you or totally set your teeth on edge.
Yeah.
The sources looked into sound. Interestingly, background music got mixed reactions. Some people find it soothing.
Others find it distracting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what was consistently flagged as negative was uncontrollable background noise. or overlapping sounds, especially background talking that you can't quite make out.
Oh, that's the worst. Trying to relax or focus when there's unpredictable noise.
It's super irritating, right?
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to that lack of control over your setting, which, as we just said, is a stressor. Your brain is constantly trying to filter out this noise it can't predict or understand.
Yeah.
The sources mentioned participants finding distracting sounds really irritating, even confusing sometimes. But on the flip side, incorporating calming sounds was seen as really beneficial. This lines up with ideas from Feng Shui too.
Okay, what kind of calming sounds worked best?
Nature sounds were the clear winner again.
Like?
Things like flowing water, maybe a small indoor fountain birdsong, gentle rain sounds, distant ocean waves.
Okay.
These sounds can help mask other disruptive noises like traffic or noisy neighbors, and there might be this sort of evolutionary comfort linked to them, signaling safety or resources. Participants generally found they actively help them relax.
Right. Now, okay, beyond the things we might expect, light, color, clutter, sound, nature, the sources turned up some, surprising things. Elements people commonly linked with a stress-free, comfy home environment.
Yeah, this was actually one of the most sort of delightful findings in the research we looked at. Two things kept popping up that you wouldn't necessarily find in a standard interior design guide for stress reduction.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What were they?
First, the comforting presence of pets.
Ah, pets. Makes sense.
And specifically, cats got mentioned multiple times across different sources.
Cats, really? That's specific.
It was quite notable, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the presence of a pet, the simple act of stroking them, their quiet company, it clearly provides this really tangible comfort and stress relief for a lot of people. It's that unconditional, non-judgmental presence, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. What was the other surprising thing?
The other one was the inclusion of comforting food and drinks when people describe their ideal relaxing spaces.
Like having a favorite mug for tea or coffee.
Exactly that. Simple things. A hot cup of tea, coffee, maybe even certain comfort foods that feel nostalgic. These aren't physical design elements, obviously, but the ability to easily have or make these comforting things within your relaxing space. That was described as a key part of feeling at ease, secure, relaxed.
Like a little ritual.
Yeah, a small ritual, a sensory comfort, maybe linked to good memories. It's a good reminder that a sanctuary isn't always about big design moves. It's often about these small personal comforts adding up.
And speaking of personal, we touched on socializing earlier. The sources seem to reinforce that idea. Connection is good, but the home sanctuary is about connection on your terms.
Precisely. The really strong preference was for socializing with close friends, loved ones, family, in those relaxing home spaces.
Not just anyone.
Right. A key factor was often the absence of strangers or not feeling any pressure to, host or cater to people you don't know well.
Ah, okay.
It really underlines that for genuine de-stressing, the home is often seen as a space for authentic connection, but with your chosen circle. It reinforces that crucial need for control over your social environment, too.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. For you, listening right now, thinking about your own space, what are the main takeaways here?
Well, I think the biggest one is just acknowledging that your home environment is not neutral. It's not just sitting there. It's actively shaping your mental health. It's a powerful force.
Yeah, we've really seen that connection between the physical space and stress levels and the benefits of dealing with clutter, making intentional choices about color, texture.
And that almost primal need for nature and natural light indoors. Can't overstate that.
Plus the huge psychological importance of personal space and feeling like you have some control over your surroundings, the light, the noise, who comes in.
Right. And the impact of sound, both good and bad. And then those lovely specific comforts. Pets, a simple cup of tea.
It all adds up.
It really does. So creating a stress-free home, it's not just about following the latest design trend or making it look like a magazine photo.
No.
It's about intentionally designing your space, using principles from psychology, design, maybe even ancient wisdom like Feng Shui, but crucially, filtering it all through your needs, your preferences, making your home actually work for your well-being.
So here's maybe a final thought to leave you with. Thinking about and curating your home environment. Maybe that's one of the most concrete day-to-day acts of self-care you can do. It's not just decorating. It's like building your own personal fortress of calm, a physical and mental buffer against all the stress from the outside world. So the question is, what small thing, maybe even something unexpected we talked about, could you change today, right now, in your space? Something that might just shift the energy and help support your peace of mind.
Just look around you. Where could you start? even something tiny.
That wraps up our deep dive into creating a stress-free home. We really hope you found some useful ideas to bring into your own life, your own space.
Yeah, hope it was helpful.
We'll see you on the next exploration.